Hi, everybody. It's Library Ann again. And again, I'm very excited because I'm going to read to you another story from Road to Work, Choosing a Job Path, written by Ronna Magy and published by the New Readers Press. And if you look behind me, you can see I have some other books from the series Road to Work, and also a book called Future English, which Ronna Magy also was one of the writers for that and editors, and a book called Pronunciation Pairs, and another book I like called Downtown English, and yet another one called A Place for Me in the World. People talk about the jobs they love. And I will list these books and their authors and publishers on the YouTube channel. So today, the story I'm going to read is called Satisfied Customers. Satisfied Customers. And let me just show you the pictures so you can start thinking about what the story is about. Why do you think these are satisfied customers? Who are the customers? Who's the man behind the desk? Who are the other people? All right, so start thinking about that. And here we go. Satisfied customers. 1. Paulo is a hotel front desk agent. He works at the Desert Resort in Arizona. His job is in the hospitality industry. So I just want to go over these words. Hotel front desk agent. That's the person who says, hi, welcome to a hotel or a resort, which is like a hotel, but it has also activities. And this is called the Desert Resort, and it's in the state Arizona, where there is a lot of desert, D-E-S-E-R-T, a lot of sand. And the way I tell my students to remember how to spell desert as compared to dessert, that sweet thing we like to have at the end of a meal, is desert has one S, D-E-S-E-R-T. Dessert has two S's, D-E-S-S-E-R-T. And what do you like better? Probably dessert, right? So think of it as I like dessert more than a desert. So there's more S's in dessert than in the word desert. Just a little trick to help you remember the spelling. Back to our story. 2. Every day, Paulo says, welcome to hotel guests. He greets about 100 people a day. He helps guests check in for their rooms. He gives each guest a room key. 3. Hotel guests come to Paulo with problems. Sometimes a room is not clean. Sometimes the air conditioning is too cold. Sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't work. Sometimes other guests are noisy. The word noisy is from the word noise, N-O-I-S-E. Noise is the noun, like a lot of noise. Noisy is the adjective, N-O-I-S-Y. The E goes away. 4. Paulo calls the housekeeping department to clean the rooms. When there are air conditioning problems, Paulo calls maintenance. When guests are noisy, Paulo calls security. Paulo wants hotel guests to be satisfied. Satisfied means to be happy and also to feel like they are getting everything that they want to get. So another way to use the word satisfied is if you are very, very hungry and then you eat a meal, at the end of the meal, if you are satisfied, it means that you had enough to eat. It says here that Paolo calls maintenance, that's a department in a building or in a company or in an office that takes care of the building, that fixes things and makes things that everything is working correctly. And it says Paolo calls security if guests are noisy. The word security here means the people that are the security guards or the people that work in the security department, and their job is to keep people feeling safe in a building, in a company, in an office, in any kind of place. 5, there are 900 rooms in the hotel. Guests check in between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Checkout time is at 11 a.m. Most days, every room is occupied. There are very few vacancies. Occupied means here, every room is occupied, means there is a guest or there are guests in every room. You might be familiar with the sign occupied when you go to use a men's room or a women's room or any kind of public bathroom, and sometimes there is a sign on the door that says occupied. That means somebody is there. And if it says vacant, that means that no one is there, which brings me to the next word here. There are very few vacancies. So for the hotel, which here is also called a resort, vacancy means when there are no people in a room. So very few vacancies means that the hotel is very full. There are only a few rooms that are available for guests. 6, sometimes Paolo has to solve problems. Mr. Stewart called 3 months ago. He reserved a hotel room. He planned to arrive before 8 p.m. He was late. He forgot to call the hotel to let them know. When Mr. Stewart arrived at 11 p.m., there were no rooms. There were no vacancies. There were no rooms. Same thing. 7, what did Paolo do? He told Mr. Stewart, I'm sorry for your inconvenience. Inconvenience. Inconvenience is the opposite of the word convenience. Convenience is when something is good for somebody, it works out. Inconvenience is when it's not good for somebody, when there's a problem. Paolo called and found Mr. Stewart a room at a nearby hotel. The desert resort paid for the room. Mr. Stewart was satisfied. Paolo was happy everything worked out. I'm going to ask you a few questions about this story in a moment, but I also just want to point out that in paragraphs 5 and 6, there are many prepositions. Those are small, usually small words that connect nouns so that they make sense. And in this case, they're prepositions of time. It says guests check in between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. So between means right in the middle. And then it also says he planned to arrive before 8 p.m. Before 8 p.m. means he was planning to arrive at 7 or 7:30 or even 7:59, but in front of or before 8 p.m. And then it also says when Mr. Stewart arrived at 11 p.m. The word at means exactly at. So he came at 11 p.m. When he walked into the hotel, it was 11 p.m. All right? Okay, very good. Question number 1. What is Paolo's job? Is he a construction worker? Is he a firefighter? Or is he a hotel front desk agent? Very good. Right away, you got it right. Very good. Yes, he is a hotel front desk agent. That's a lot of words. Sometimes that job is simply called a receptionist or a front desk agent. The hotel part, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Question number 2. Where does he work? Does he work at the dessert resort? Does he work at the fruit and vegetable resort? Does he work at the JVS resort? Or does he work at the desert resort in Arizona? Yes, it was the last one. Very good. The desert resort. All right, let me go to which department fixes the air conditioning? Which department in a hotel or really in any building fixes the air conditioning? Yes, very good. That is the maintenance department. And which department cleans the rooms? Very good. That is the house cleaning department. And lastly, what are 3 problems that hotel guests complain about in this story? So let's see, what were some of the complaints? Was it that the food was bad? Was it that the room cost too much? Was it that the room was not clean? Was it that the air conditioning was too cold? Or the Wi-Fi didn't work? Or some guests were noisy? Yes, those of you who said the last 4 things, you are correct. People complain often that a room isn't clean or the AC or air conditioning is too cold. Sometimes people complain that it's not cold enough. Sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't work, and sometimes other guests get too noisy. All right, very good. So I'm going to just go over some of the words we talked about from the story. What is another way to say Wi-Fi? Is it wireless internet connection or is it radio? Most of us just say Wi-Fi, but it's good to know what it means. So it is short for a wireless internet connection. Very good. The word vacancies, vacancies. Okay, the word vacant by itself means empty. If a room is vacant, then it is empty. There is nobody there and maybe nothing there either, no objects. In a hotel, very few vacancies. Does that mean there are very few computers or very few empty rooms? Very good. I heard you say empty rooms. Very good. All right, and the last one, when it says, I'm sorry for your inconvenience, does that mean I'm sorry that you had a hard time getting here? Or does it just mean I'm sorry for your trouble? Could be trouble about anything, not just a trip or getting here. Yes, very good. Trouble or problem. In this case, it was because when the person arrived, there were no rooms available for him. So that was an inconvenience, but then the hotel solved the problem by getting the customer a room at another hotel. All right, well, I hope you like this story. I hope this satisfied you for your English learning today. And I hope you will keep learning English. Again, this book is Road to Work, Choosing a Job Path by Ronna Magy, published by the New Readers Press. I'm Teacher Ann. Keep on learning English, and I will see you again really soon. All right? Bye-bye. Take care.